In the early days of my selling career, I was basically taught to give a really good presentation, to explain to the prospect all the good things that we have to offer and how they could benefit from it. However, over the years, I learned that more important than a good sales presentation is the ability to properly qualify the prospect so that you can focus your energies on doing exactly what has to be done to get the business. Now, there are some techniques that you can do that will enable you to shorten the sales cycle and get better deals. I've learned this over the years, and I'm going to, in this video, talk about one that is very good to build a relationship and start the process of developing a roadmap to close. I call this technique 3 queuing, and the Q stands for questions. So there's 3 questions that you can ask a prospect, but they have to be asked in a certain order. For example, let's say we're in to talk about cutting expenses. And the first question I would ask the person I was dealing with is, over the past 5 years or so, what have you done that you're most proud of to reduce expenses in your operations? And then just listen and take notes. And he's going to tell you what he's most proud of, and I'll come back to that in just a second. The second question is, well, if you were unconstrained, what would you like to do that you can't do right now in order to reduce your expenses? Again, start taking notes and listen carefully to what he's saying. And depending upon this particular answer, you can follow up with a second question in this area to focus his interest in what you're trying to do. For example, if you are providing telecommunication services, you might want to say at this point, well, sir, in the area of telecommunications, what do you wish you could do now that you can't do today? And listen. And then the third question that you would ask would be, what are the things that really bother you about expense reduction? And listen and write down the notes. Now, you've asked 3 basic questions, and you have a really good idea of what makes up this person's mind. For example, in the first question, what he's proud of is that whatever he's done, you don't want to disturb that. You want to reinforce that. So anything that you can bring to the table that's going to enhance what he's done, that he's most proud of, he's going to like. The second point is that he needs some help. He needs some help in doing some things that he can't do right now. He might be constrained by budget. He might be constrained by management issues, whatever it is. But here is a way that you can start to focus on providing something out of your solution that can give him what he really would like to have. The third question talks about his problems. What's worrying him? What does he, when he goes to bed at night, what is his biggest concern? And that's an area that you know it's an immediate problem, and that's where you can focus on possibly helping him. Now, let's go back to the beginning. 3 questions. You must ask him that order, because initially, most people are going to be defensive. They sit down across the table from you and the arms are crossed and they're like, okay, I got to be careful with this guy. Well, if you ask them a softball question, they start to relax. And psychologically, that's a very good way of starting the conversation. And then the second question also is a feel-good question. What would you like to do that you can't do right now? And it's amazing to watch the body language because people start to relax. They start to lean back in their chair. And then the third question is, hey, what can we do that we might be able to help you solve something that's a real problem? Because of the first 2 questions, he's going to answer that and answer it honestly. So psychologically, you must ask them in that particular order. You never want to start the conversation saying, sir, what problems are you dealing with today? Me? I don't have any problems. You don't want that approach. So at this particular point, you can stop the conversation and you say, sir, I came in today to talk about my company and give you a presentation, but this is far more important information. What I would like to do at this point, if you don't mind, is to go back to my team and think about the points that you've made and how we might be able to help you reinforce what you've already done, make it stronger, 2, to try and give you some new solutions that you can't get today. And 3, of those problems that you told me about, I want to find out if we can help you in those areas. Would that be of value to you? Well, of course. I've never had anybody say no. But the point is, I'm now into his space. I'm now going to be a consultant. I'm now going to show him some real value. And from that, we can then talk about what we might be able to do together. So that's one technique in qualifying a prospect that will enable you to shorten the sales cycle and produce some really good results.